Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self realization. Please subscribe for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently exploring Advice to Householders, authored by Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So, we are discussing the important topic of what is love and what role does sex play in it, and moving onwards, stepping beyond body consciousness. So, the need for sex, food, and sleep is common to all living beings, animals as well as humans. However, a human being possesses the special faculty of reflective intellect, which distinguishes him from the majority of other living creatures on this earth. By purifying his intellect, he is able to control the sexual urge and sublimate it into Ojas Shakti. Shakti means a spiritual force. By the power of his intuitive intellect, he is able to transcend body consciousness itself. According to the system of Kundalini Yoga, the Kundalini or the mystic energy in the majority of people is confined to the three lower chakras known as the Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, and Manipura. Therefore, their minds are ever immersed in the thoughts of food, sex, and various pleasures of the senses. But as one attains higher levels of evolution, the Kundalini begins to operate through the higher chakras, which are the heart center, Anahata chakra, Vishuddhi or the throat center, and Agya chakra or in between the eyebrows or the command center. These thereby reveal the higher levels of consciousness, which means you have risen above the basic sexual needs, survival needs, and sex and all the pleasures of the senses needs. One moves above and one finds bliss within himself. Body consciousness matters less, and bliss and inner peace matters more. For those who are immature, passion is mistaken for love. However, by cultivating purity of mind and intellect, an aspirant is able to overcome passion and convert it into pure love. Then the aspirant sees a clear contrast between the fleeting and deceptive pleasures of the senses and the pure joy of the self revealed through the purified state of mind. As one thus overcomes the dependence upon the senses for experiencing happiness, no more a slave to the senses. He is instead able to seek higher forms of happiness and inner fulfillment through the planes of the higher self, and that also is within him itself. So, preoccupation with sex has its roots in body identification, identifying yourself as a male or a female. However, in reality, the innermost spirit in a person is neither a male nor a female. It is unaffected by the characteristics of the physical body. Physical body is simply an instrument. Led by different karmas, an individual soul may incarnate as a male in one birth and as a female in another. Once you deeply understand that you are spirit, you are no longer enslaved by gender, and even in your lifetime, you overcome sex consciousness as well as body identification itself. That is the mark of your spiritual progress. When human beings see each other as bodies, they are putting each other in a degraded position. But when they see each other as spirit, it is very uplifting. Thus, the term spiritual, the one who possesses spirit. The body may appear to be the most important thing about another person in the beginning of a relationship, but as your intellect matures, you realize that the body is just a cloth. The spirit is beyond body, beyond sexes, beyond birth and death. So let's move on to the topic of brahmacharya for householders. As you can well see, entering into grihastha ashrama or householder life does not imply that there is no more need for brahmacharya. It's not a sexual license getting married. On the contrary, for the wise householder who aspires for the highest goal in life, marriage is just another step towards the subtler practice of sense control or brahmacharya. The very purpose of married life is to give meaning and direction to sexual propensities so that deeper forms of love may be gradually realized. In the course of time, in a truly successful marriage, there need be no dependence on sexuality between husband and wife. They become more internally communicative, profound friends who help each other for the attainment of the fourfold purposes of life: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, meaning the ethical, material, social, and spiritual goals. Only in such a mature love can the insecurity that plagues most couples vanish. If pleasure is the only bond in a marriage, no one knows who will be divorced first. But when sexuality is no longer considered the essence of your relationship, you do not have to be afraid of aging and becoming physically unattractive to your husband or wife. You do not have to fear being deserted if illness or injury impairs your beauty or strength. Your relationship blossoms into the union of two souls, two spirits, rather than two separate bodies. Keeping this in view, fidelity in marriage becomes of paramount importance. And even within the bond of marriage, a couple should develop a healthy restraint and self control. Married life should become a means to understanding, removing, and sublimating the sublime propensities of sexuality that abide in the unconscious. So, this should pave the way for the unfoldment of divine love in the stage of Vanaprastha, sannyasa stages, the final two stages: house forest dwelling stage, asceticism stage, excuse me, and finally the sannyasa or renunciation stage. In these last two stages, the tree of brahmacharya, which developed its first shoots during student life and sent out many branches during householder life, flourish with the blossoms of divine qualities and the nectarine fruits of self realization. So, all that discipline is done for a purpose, for a higher purpose. So, the evolution of love. Thus, Grihasthashram or household life was not meant to contradict Brahmacharya but was meant to perfect Brahmacharya or living in God. You start to cultivate Brahmacharya in Brahmacharya ashram, initial stages, then you are led to greater perfection in Brahmacharya through Grihastha ashram or married life. And then, as you enter Vanaprastha, you learn more about how to meditate on Brahman and how to abide in Brahman. In sannyasa stage, when you attain enlightenment, you are a full brahmachari. You live and move in Brahman, which is the real meaning of brahmacharya. So it's a lifelong journey. To see how beautifully the plan operates, imagine that you had a tender shoot of a banyan tree that you hoped one day would grow to be a mighty tree and express its great banyan nature. You fence it in so that the goat will not come and eat it up, and when you see the goat trying to enter in, you drive it away. If the young plant had the power to speak, it might say, "Why are you doing all this to me? Why are you putting fences around me? Let me be." Well, you know that the plant might not survive unharmed if you listen to its complaint. So you continue to protect it with your wisdom and your experience. Similarly, young people in their tender student days are introduced to the concepts of brahmacharya with little restraints in the mind and senses. If your teenager son or daughter were to say, "Why should you control me? Why do you discipline me? Let me be," your heart must answer, "I do so so that one day you can express all the inner majesty and potentiality that is your birthright. Fencing in is an important aspect in student life so that the mind is not scattered through distraction. When you enter grihastha life, you have grown a great deal, but still you are not a stout, full grown spiritual aspirant. You still need guidance and protection. As a vanaprasthi and then as an enlightened sannyasi, you finally become gigantic and fully rooted in the indestructible spirit. When you become one with Brahman, you have attained absolute perfection in brahmacharya. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa was of the view that if one practiced brahmacharya successfully for 7 years, all the chakras of Kundalini would be awakened effortlessly. Many great sages and saints have given similar views. Yogic scriptures point out that sex energy, prana, and mind are intimately related. By controlling sex energy, one harmonizes the pranas and promotes meditative states of the mind. The Raja Yoga Sutras of Patanjali Maharishi state that one who is established in brahmacharya attains an abundance of physical, mental, and spiritual energy. Brahmacharya tones the nerves, nourishes the brain, harmonizes the pranas, and elevates the mind. It is the foundation of all divine qualities. Mahatma Gandhi was of the view that brahmacharya must be practiced by all those who wish to serve humanity in an effective way because brahmacharya endows a person with special spiritual strength. Mahatma Gandhi was a great exponent of non-violence or ahimsa, truthfulness, satyam, and brahmacharya, the three most important yamas or ethical restraints. He emphasized the fact that if these virtues were taught, culture would rise to a very high level and manifold problems of humanity would be effectively solved. On the other hand, if these ideals are not impressed on the minds of people, human culture would be terribly degraded and would be led to disaster. Today's youth are constantly exposed to the charms of materialistic culture through films, TV shows, all these online apps like TikTok, etc., and radio programs, so many things. It is for this program and this reason that the ideal of brahmacharya seems like such an impossibility for most people because everywhere you turn, you see these things easily and abundantly available. This was not so many years ago. However, if these media of communication were to present examples of great men who mastered their mind and senses, who practiced lives of purity, such as Jesus, Christ, Buddha, Shankaracharya, Mahatma Gandhi, Ramanna Maharishi, Ramakrishna Paramhansa, Swami Shivananda, and other saints and sages who have inspired mankind, the mind of our youth would be drawn to the lofty goals of spiritual life. What great treasure lies in the human heart! By controlling passion, one can enjoy the indescribable sweetness of divine love and become immersed in God. So, with this, we complete this very necessary and important topic because it permeates the very fabric of our life. And in tomorrow's satsang, we will study yoga in life and how to harmonize our daily lives. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Hari Om Tat Sat.